You break bread with them. Learn they live, we all live together. We all suffer the same pain. And this was just a horrible act of cowardice. We can never understand it. But we need to grow from this, and we need to live together in peace and harmony, and we need to work together. Let's work together more. I thought we were far beyond this, but, you know.
End your prayers.
Next, we'll have scripture from Deaconess Brewer.
My people who are called by my name will humble themselves and pray and seek my face and turn from their wicked ways. Then I will hear from heaven and I will forgive their sin and will heal their land.
We're so very thankful that he has allowed us to come here today for this very important occasion. So to share with us a prayer for community healing, we're asking that the Reverend Dr. Keith McDaniel come forward.
The bodies are laid to rest to focus on the victims, not the depravity of the perpetrator, not the heinousness of the crime, but to focus on the lives of the victims. And if I focus on the lives of the victims, I have to ask myself, what is it about the Bible that would make folks on a Wednesday night go study it? What is it about the Bible that people would be willing to risk their lives to study it? So at least we owe it to the victims to look at the Bible and find out what might be in there that drew you to a church on a Wednesday night and led you to sacrifice your life. And if you look at the words of the Bible, there's a time and a season for everything. There's a time and a season to cry, and there's a time and a season to laugh. There's a time to mourn. There's a time to dance. There's a time to ask some really hard questions. Like, why do we still have that kind of racial animus in 2015? Why didn't anybody intervene? How can an 87-year-old woman who survived segregation and the fight for voting rights not survive a trip to the church? How can a 20-something-year-old be plucked, the life be plucked away from the 20-something-year-old because all they were doing was going to church to learn more about you? How about a statesman in the prime of his career? Silence. Why? And some say you can't ask tough questions of God, but I disagree. That's exactly what we ought to be doing, is asking why. The greatest way that we can memorialize the lives of these victims is for them to prevail. And I want you to think about what the defendant said he wanted to do. He said he wanted to start a race war. Look around you. He failed. He brought us closer together. Us closer together. People of good conscience, regardless of race. He brought us together. He failed, they won. The challenge for us is to stay like this, even when there isn't a tragedy. Stay like this on the sunny days, not just the rainy days. So do this for me. There'll be a time and there'll be a season to focus on the defendant, the trial, and the punishment. But death is final. There is no retreat. There is no recovery. Don't ever stop praying for the victims and those that they left behind. Those 9 lives need to be what we remember far more than the heinousness and the depravity of this defendant. And let us never, ever forget that our challenge is for him to have failed in his goal. And if you look around this morning, he did.